Hey everybody, welcome back to Peachy Disc Golf. Today, I am here at Chattahoochee Pointe Park in order to play 9 holes using Prodigy's newest mid-range, Isaac Robinson's signature disc, the Archive. I am so excited to try this disc out, so let's jump right into it. All right, I am super excited for this video because as of recording this video, the Archive is currently not available yet. The only reason I have these discs is because Prodigy reached out to me and asked me if I wanted a couple Archives to test out. So thank you, Prodigy, so much. I really appreciate this. These are the first discs that we've received because of the channel. So thank you to Prodigy. And also thank you to all of you guys who have subscribed to the channel as well. Because of you guys, the channel keeps growing. We keep getting bigger and bigger. So thank you all so much. So the Archive is a slightly overstable mid-range at 5502. We have the disc in both 500 plastic and in 400 plastic here. I love both 400 and 500 plastic. Most of my Prodigy discs are one of those two. They both feel great. This profile-wise, the Archive feels amazing in the hand. The numbers for the Archive are very similar to the M2, and I actually have thrown an M2 in the past. I actually recorded a video last week using the M2, and now that video is going to be coming out after this one, so a little confusion there, but the M2 I don't find particularly comfortable, whereas this Archive really feels great in the hand. So I'm really looking forward to trying this disc out and seeing how it flies. I do have some other mid-ranges with me from Prodigy. I have the M2 and the M4, so we'll see how this Archive slots in with those. And also I brought a couple of other similar mid-ranges from other manufacturers as well that we might throw here and there. So we're just gonna play 9 holes here at Chattahoochee Pointe Park. It's not like the front 9 or back 9, it's really just holes that I think these mid-ranges will do well with. So we're gonna start things off here behind me at hole 1, and let's get this going. Hole 1 is only 180 feet, par 3. You can see the basket on the left side here. Normally I don't throw a mid-range on this hole. I usually just throw a putter, but I just got off of a really long flight today. Haven't really stretched or thrown anything yet, so figured why not warm up here. We're gonna go down the right side. We're gonna start with the 400 plastic first, then we'll do the 500 after that. Oh, okay. A nice lucky kick there. I threw it really soft, so let's give this one a little more juice and we should be able to get it there no problem. Oh yeah, that should be parked. So you can see both of my Archives here are almost right next to each other. The green 400 plastic one though needed a lot more luck. It hit this middle tree here at the end, bounced up, still managed to get inside the circle though. I threw both of these very soft. On the next hole, we'll be able to give them some full rips. So this is like a 15-foot putt here, maybe 20 feet. Nice. There's one. Can we get a birdie off of this one too? Let's go. Hole 2 is 360 feet, par 4. You can see the basket perched up on top of a little hill here. So we'll get to throw both of these full power this time. I'm gonna aim for the right of this tree, see how much it fades back into the fairway. Starting with 400 again, then 500. Oh, I threw that way low. Ooh, that's got some really nice stability at the end. Wow. It's not like crazy overstable, obviously, with only a 2 fade, but that seems very true to the numbers. I threw that low. It had a really decent glide to stay up for as long as it could. Checked up real nice, so we're gonna be just on the edge of the rough with that one. Let's see if we can get this one actually in the fairway. There we go. Put that one on hyzer. You can see it holds it the whole way, but it doesn't have any sort of dumpy finish. So my green Archive actually ended up going further, even though I threw it so much lower. Not by much, 10 feet closer, but we'll throw from the blue one here in the fairway. You can see the basket straight ahead. This is just a A5, A2, just chip approach here, but let's just go with the Archive here. Oh yeah, that's parked. Oh no, it's short. Dang it. I thought that was parked. We'll park it with the blue one though. Maybe we'll throw it in. There we go, that one is parked. I left some meat on the bone for the green one, but the blue one is a tap in. It's right under the basket, so. There we go. Let's go. 2 birdies. Man, we're on fire. Hole 3 is 240 feet, par 3. This is the first hole where I actually throw a mid-range normally here. Basically with the Archive, I'm gonna actually put a little bit of anhyzer on it because the basket is a little bit on the right side. We got these really big full trees on the right that we want to avoid. So we're gonna start off with the 400 plastic archive, then the 500 plastic archive. And we're also gonna compare the M4 here. I have an M4 in 400 plastic, and we'll sort of show how they complement each other, hopefully. So starting off with the 400 plastic archive here. Oh, that fights out if you don't put enough anhyzer on it. Kind of soft there, but it definitely has stability at the end. So we'll put a little more angle and a little more power into this one and see, can we get it closer? There we go. Look, oh no, the tree. That was gonna be so good. Now we'll try out the M4. This is actually a disc that I would consider throwing here. I usually go with something a little more understable, even like the Lobster or something, and just throw it flat and let the disc do the work to the right, but let's see how the M4 holds up. Oh yeah, look at that. Still a little fight out with the flatness, but that's a good deal closer. So the M4 is definitely more understable. And I mean, that's shown in the numbers too. That's 5.5, -1, 1. Initial impressions, it seems like the M4 and the archive will be excellent complements for each other. If you want something to stay a little more to the right side, you'll take the M4. But if you need something to go straight with a little bit of a left fade, that archive seems pretty solid. Oh no, we got an audience for my putt. They're gonna judge me if I miss this. This is a circle 2 though, for sure. So, oh, come on, I thought I had that. Nope. You see my M4 though, way closer, like a 10-foot little putt here, putt with the archive. No big deal. Now the archive has a taste of the chains, so it's ready. Bonus shot here. How does the archive fare on the tee shot for hole 4, which is a par 5? Can we get it through both of these initial gaps here? Oh yeah, that's a great throw. Can we replicate that? Oh yeah, nearly identical. That one's further left. Made it through both gaps. How does that compare with a full power throw with the M4 here? I'll actually have some more shots with the M4 in a different video coming out in the near future from a trip I took to Indiana. The M2 to me is definitely not as comfortable feeling in the hand as that archive is. So if these have similar flights, that archive would definitely be the one that I prefer. Very similar. Definitely less glide with that one. All right, one last shot. M4, since we're feeling it right now. Can we get 4 good mid-range shots here on hole 4? This one I'm gonna put a little hyzer on. Oh yeah, look at that. Fade up, yep, in the fairway. You can see full power. The M4 definitely has a nice flip up to flat. Even had a little ride to the right side. Man, all of those are pretty good shots with mid-ranges. Initial thoughts with the archive so far, I am really liking it a lot. It feels great in the hand. That's a nice straight flight for most of the flight with what seems like a pretty dependable fade. Question that I have now is, would I be able to slot this in my bag? Mid-ranges have become one of my favorite discs to throw, and because of that, I have so many in the bag right now. So I do want to see how this compares to both my Hex and my Matrix. I brought both of those with me today, so we will have some comparisons with those in just a little bit, but yeah, I'm really curious to see how it compares to some of my other discs that I'm currently bagging. Hole 6 is 235 feet, par 3. Wide open hole here, so this is an ideal shot for a test with the mid-ranges here. So we're gonna start off with both of the archives, obviously, but I might throw some of the other mid-ranges that I brought with me because this is sort of an ideal hole where I would throw a mid-range. I normally throw a Hex here, sometimes a Matrix, depending on how I'm feeling. And yeah, we should be able to pretty easily get there with some nice, powerful throws. So with the archives, we're gonna throw them flat to the right of the basket and hopefully have a nice fade to the left. So we're gonna start 400 first, then 500, and then let's see what other discs we pull out. All right, I think that's too wide. That's almost pin high. That was just a little too far to the right, but that has pretty good fade at the end. Definitely got a lot closer than I initially thought. Try this 500 archive. This time we won't put it out quite as wide. That's pretty solid. All right, so let's do some comparisons with some of my MVP discs. So we have my Matrix here. This is the disc I'm currently using as my slightly overstable mid-range. Then we're also gonna throw my Hex here. This is a glow Hex that's been dyed by ThrowJoes, and we'll see how does the Archive stack up to both of these. All right, so the Matrix definitely has less glide, but it seems like it's a good deal more overstable. All right, let's try the Hex here as well. Oh, and the Hex is just a laser straight disc. So, all right, from that comparison there, what I'm seeing is the Archive is more overstable than the Hex, which is what I expected, but a little bit less overstable than the Matrix. The glide does not surprise me. I think the Matrix has a listing of 4 glide also. What about the Buzzz? So the Buzzz I've always found to be a little more overstable than the Hex as well. How does the Archive compare then to a Buzzz? Very similar, honestly. I think the Buzzz does have a little bit more turn. It's listed as a -1 turn, but stability-wise, I think the Archive just has a tick more overstability than a Buzzz, but honestly, very similar. Should we keep it going? We're doing pretty well here. Let's do the 2 Prodigy mids that I have. So we'll do the M2 and then the M4 as well. Oh, I did not throw that on the right line. It seems like the M2 does not have quite as much stability as the Archive. Not by much, but I think the Archive just has, again, a tick more. Honestly, that M2 seems like it had a similar flight to the Buzzz, maybe just a little bit less turn, but fade-wise, it seems very similar. And then last up here, M4. Oh yeah, look at that one go. That one I put on a little bit of hyzer. Nice flip up to flat and a gentle fade to the left. So honestly, man, it's hard. I don't, which one do I like the best? All right, so all of my throws are decent. So my Matrix, my M4 out here, these are the worst of the bunch. You can see we're like edge of circle for those. The Matrix, I thought I threw pretty full power, but it still ended up way short. The M4, I definitely babied a bit. The Hex and the 500 plastic Archive right next to each other, maybe 15 feet there. The 400 plastic Archive not too far away. The Buzzz went a little past the basket here. That's another 10-foot putt there. And even with the M4 as a shank to the left, still a 15-foot circle 1 putt there. So all in all, not bad. So yeah, let's see if we can get some birdies with our 2 Archives and move on to the next hole. There we go, let's go. I thought that was gonna be right, but it had just enough fade. This one shouldn't be a problem. This is like only 15. There it is. Oh, just barely. I thought that was guaranteed. Hole 7, 255 feet, par 3. You can see the basket on the left side, just outside of the tree line here. 250 sort of is my max distance for mid-range throws, so this will be a good distance test for the Archive here. We're gonna throw this as hard as we can, try to get it down to the basket, and then we'll probably throw a couple other mid-ranges just to compare again. Not all of them this time, because I don't wanna use up all of my arm strength, but we're gonna start off with the 400 plastic, and we'll go to the 500 plastic, and I think I'm gonna bust out the Buzzz again, and maybe the Matrix and the Hex as well. That looks good. Maybe a hair low. Oh, that looks pretty good distance-wise. I think I'm still short, maybe 15, 20 feet short. All right, now we'll do the 500 Archive. Ooh, that's pretty close, I think. I'm like 10, 15 feet away from the basket. That was a pretty good throw. I threw it a bit nose up and high, but it still didn't dump way over to the left or anything, so we're gonna have a look there as well. All right, so let's compare that again to the Matrix and the Hex. So we'll start with the Matrix. This is the disc that would be the most likely candidate for a disc to replace if I do end up bagging the Archive. So let's throw the Matrix and see how it compares. And we'll also throw the Hex as well, just because I really like throwing this one. Yeah, that's a good rip for the Matrix there. And it's still, that might be similar to the Archive actually, that blue 500. We'll see though. It looks like it might be a little short as well. But honestly, flight-wise, they're pretty similar. That had a pretty similar stability, but I do feel like I had to throw that a little bit harder to get that distance. Let's try the Hex. Oh yeah, I think that's still a hair short. All right, and then we'll also try out the Buzzz here. The Buzzz was actually the best throw that I had of the group last time, so let's see if that was a fluke. Ooh, I think that's close. Just like I thought, the Matrix is just a little bit shorter than the Archive here, the two that were nearly identical. Buzzz is the closest of the group, it looks like, again, so might have to consider putting that back in the bag. Here's the 400 Archive, our first throw, and then the Glow Hex as well. One thing to note, so you can sort of see both of the Archives here are very similar in distance, and I haven't noticed any difference between the two plastics. So really when choosing your plastics for this, it just comes down to preference on what you think looks the best, but it seems like they fly very similarly to each other. All right, we'll try to make some putts here. These are both like 20 feet away. The basket is really leaning though, so if I miss, that's the only reason why, it's the leaning basket. Oh, what a catch. The leaning basket might have helped me there. Nope. We'll count the first one. Hole 8, 215 feet, par 3. Basket is straight ahead, just got to avoid all of the trees around the basket. We're gonna throw the two Archives first, and then we're back to comparing, I guess, the other Prodigy mid-ranges. So 400 plastic, then 500 plastic Archive. Then we're gonna do the M2 and the M4. That was gonna shape up nicely if I made it through that tree. Definitely want to try to go a little more to the left or a little lower if you're gonna go that line. Try to make the correction with the 500 plastic here. That should be good. Oh, too overstable. Oh, that's not bad. That's like a 15-foot putt. Try the M2. Yeah. If I put that Archive on that line, I think it would have been a little closer to the basket, but you could see the M2 does not have quite as much fight as the Archive does, it seems like. Last up, we got the M4. Threw that way too wide. All right, so just like I thought, the Archive just a little left, but still, this is like a little 5-foot putt. No problem there. And you can actually just see at the edge of the frame. The M2 actually made it through pretty good through the tree. It ended to the right, but I mean, this is still a putt. Oh no, it's not. Got this branch, look at this. Right in the way. Try a straddle putt here. I missed. Well, at least we got the birdie with the Archive. Man, I really need to get a camera that has a tally lamp because I just recorded this hole, had 2 park jobs with the Archives, but I forgot to hit the record button. I've done that a few times lately and it's really frustrating, but hole 10 here is 205 feet, par 3, wide open. You can see the basket straight ahead. It plays a little bit uphill, so it's just a hair longer, but I mean, I already know I can get here with the Archive with no problem, so just gotta do it 2 more times. That should be good. So I've parked this hole 3 times in a row now with the Archive. Let's do 1 more just to make sure we get 2 of them on video this time at least. That should be good too. Go in. Oh, too high. A little short too, but still 10-foot putt, no problem there. Honestly, these were pretty similar to the first 2 shots that I had too, so good consistency. I am starting to get tired though, which is why I'm going to start throwing less discs, pretty much just the Archives. I'm sure we'll have a couple more comparisons here and there, but not all of them like we did on hole 6. Hole 13 is another wide open hole here, par 3. We've ranged it to be about 270 feet. So we're going to throw the 2 Archives and then we'll also throw the M2 here. I don't expect to get to the basket with any of these discs, but if we do, that would be so cool. All right, that's like just outside of circle 1 there. Honestly, that's about the max I would expect to get on this hole, but let's see. I'll try the 500 to give it a little more height. Let's see if we can get it just a hair further. Oh my God, that's like a 15-foot putt, maybe less. That was such a good throw. I think that's just the play here, is I need to throw higher and wider, and then I know that the Archive has a strong fade to the left, but it's still a forward penetrating fade. So I just need to give it the height and let the fade still work its way forward to get closer. Let's try the M2 now. Oh no. Well, that's a bad comparison, unfortunately. Circle 2 putt here from the 400 plastic Archive. We got like a 20 footer from the 500 plastic. Oh my God, that was so bad. Ugh. All right, if we get this one though, it counts. Oh my God, robbery. All right, last hole we're playing, hole 15, par 3, 240 feet with the basket straight ahead here. We do have a little bit of swamp in the rough here, and it's been raining a bit, so it might be kind of swampy in there that we're trying to avoid. So it sort of plays like an island green. This is honestly a pretty good shot for the Archive here. If we're gonna throw to the straight ahead of the tee box and let it fade towards the basket. I do normally throw a Matrix here, but I have found that a lot of times it does come up short. So we're gonna toss the Matrix, and then we'll also toss the M2 as well. That might be a little left, but distance-wise, that looks okay. That's a bit short. I think we're edge of circle there, though. That looks good. That's still too direct, but definitely a little bit closer. I think that's pin high. All right, now we'll try the Matrix here. Oh, I threw that way wider. That's so short and in the swamp. Can we get one good shot here? That's short. Yeah, shorter of the Archives. All right, so the M2 and the Archives, nearly identical. All of these are like circle's edge putts. This one's actually circle 2 for sure. Let's see. If we get one, that's all that matters. Ooh, just a hair short. This is also short. No. Oh man, the fatigue is real. All right, I am all finished up testing out the Archive here. So real quick, I thought I'd give you my final thoughts of the disc. Overall, I really like this disc. One, it feels great in the hand. So when I compare it to the M2 here, they do have similar flights. I find that the M2 has just a little bit less fade at the end, but the biggest difference for me for these two discs is that the Archive just feels so much better in the hand. The M2 sort of has a beaded rim, whereas the Archive is more beadless. And because of that, I find that the Archive just feels much better in my hands when I'm throwing it. The M2 isn't uncomfortable by any means, but I just greatly prefer the Archive. So if I were choosing between these two, I would definitely choose the Archive over the M2. The biggest question that I have for myself is, would the Archive replace the Matrix for me? It definitely has less glide than a lot of the other mid-ranges I use, whereas the Archive seems like it has a similar stability. I think this Cosmic Neutron Matrix is a tick more overstable than the Archive, but the Archive is similar enough, but does have a little bit more glide. I'm able to get just a little bit further with less effort using these Archives. So there's a good chance that the Archives would replace this Cosmic Neutron Matrix. So for now, I think I am gonna put this 500 plastic Archive in the bag for a little trial run, maybe give it a month or so, see if I miss the Matrix or if the Matrix is gonna reclaim that spot. But I really liked throwing these Archives. I sort of petered out at the end there. I just got so tired from traveling, and it's just been really hectic, but I really wanted to get this review video out. This disc is supposed to be releasing shortly after this video is posted, so definitely if you're looking for a slightly overstable mid-range, this Archive is a great choice. Again, between the 400 and the 500 plastic, they feel similar to me, like they have similar gumminess, similar grip as well, but I just prefer this blue color over this green color, which is the only reason why this 500 plastic Archive is going in the bag. But overall, I loved both of these discs. They were a lot of fun to throw. Thank you again to Prodigy for sending them out. But that's gonna be it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to the channel. If we can get more subscribers, maybe more manufacturers will reach out and send me some more discs to try it. I would love and appreciate that, but I just can't believe it still. Like, Oh man, when I got that message from Prodigy, I was just like, wait, what? Oh, we're making it. Everyone who has subscribed so far, thank you so much. I really appreciate all the support. So if you enjoyed watching this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and also ring that notification bell so you can be notified when our next episode comes out. Again, my wife and I are going to be on vacation for the next couple of weeks, but I do have a backlog of videos, including some more Prodigy videos. That wasn't even intentional. I was in like trying to put a bunch of Prodigy videos together. That's just sort of how the schedule worked out. But I got some videos showcasing some new Prodigy discs to my collection and also testing out some of Prodigy's really understable fairway drivers. That was a lot of fun, so definitely be sure to check those videos out. Until next time, guys, cheers.